brother. Hey, Ben.
Hey.
Tell me about this awesome podcast / radio show.
Watching from ringside?
That one, yes.
Yes.
Where we do great impressions like... Now that you're going to do your Macho Man. Okay.
Oh, ooh, yeah.
Or, I'll tell you what. What?
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 Or, hey, baby. I can't do... I'm trying to do my Dusty.
Baby.
Hey, baby. How you doing, baby?
How you doing?
I'll tell you what, baby.
Wrestling, watching from ringside. Is that you?
That's me, baby. Live and in living color.
Only on KXVS, baby, the voice of Stockton.
So people in the Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope land are tune in any way you want to because we are watching from ringside.
All day, every day, only on Friday. And maybe Saturday, too. Sometimes on a Sunday, because, you know, they got them special shows. Know what I'm talking about, baby?
Stop stealing my gimmick. But,
yeah.
Ben, let's get into all seriousness. This
Yeah.
is like... watching from ringside, as we were talking about, is a pro wrestling show. With
The
fun.
only pro wrestling show on KXVS.
Or in Stockton.
Or in Stockton, yes.
Yeah, come tell us if you're somebody else.
The premier podcast.
Yeah. The premier podcast of pro wrestling talk in the Central Valley is me and Ben. And it's fun. So we talk about the world of wrestling from our perspective and give you the latest going-ons of what's going on in the world of wrestling, right?
Yep. WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Ring of Honor.
All in
NXT.
too.
Yeah, and All In.
Which is brand new.
Brand spanking new.
So we're
Could change the face of wrestling as we know it.
We're gonna break down all of that throughout, well, whenever we have a show. So I'll tell you what, Ben.
What?
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 Watching from ringside Fridays on KXVS, the voice of Stockton. For Ben Sanchez, I'm Dustin Breakfield.
KXVS on 92.1. Coming soon.
The views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily reflect those of KXVS, the voice of Stockton, or its parents, affiliates, management, and staff.
Welcome to Watching from Ringside on the voice of Stockton KXVS Radio. Dustin Breakbill alongside the one and only Sanchez himself, Ben Sanchez.
Hey, Dustin. How's it going?
What's up, Benji?
Ooh.
Ooh, brother.
Ooh.
Brother.
It's getting a lot of salt today.
I know I'm doing that Becky Lynch vibe at you.
Yeah,
we'll talk about that. She's going to be a big part of this show. It's actually might not be an hour. Might be 30 minutes, 45.
Yeah, not a full hour this time.
Yeah.
We haven't been on the
for a while,
bit.
yeah. We should have done one last Sunday, but, you know, life gets in the way.
Life
Tiredness gets in the way.
Yeah, well, you got
homework.
Projects,
Yeah.
Delta's full steam ahead. In
life
the fall.
as a student, yeah.
That's
life as a student, a life as a broadcaster, life as a volunteer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a lot of different hats you're wearing.
Huh. Got a 10-gallon hat on.
10-gallon
Got
hat?
that JBL hat on.
Yeah. Your favorite announcer, right?
He actually wasn't bad. A lot of people don't like him, but he's better than a lot of people who are...
like Coach?
We'll talk about, too. Got demoted. And Renee Young, happy birthday, by the way.
Yeah.
Miss Ambrose. Or
yeah.
Miss... what else? What's Moxley?
Yeah, Miss Moxley.
Well, I don't even know that's his real name either.
No, it's Jonathan Good.
Yeah, Miss Good.
Miss Good.
Yeah. So, but
good.
What should we start with? Should we start with Renee Young because she's been in the news a lot lately?
Yeah, we can start with Renee Young.
Since it's her birthday.
Mm-hmm.
Since she's the, I think she's probably the most. If there's a favorability rating, that's what they have in politics. I know it's not a politics show, but like, if you had to pick a wrestler with like a favorite, like a good rating from the public, I think Renee Young would be up there high.
Yeah, I think so. Well, I mean,
like at least 95%. I don't even know if people hate her.
No,
she doesn't get heat.
No heat.
She gets her job done.
Yeah,
she does her job.
She's slowly kind of, moved her way up.
Gets better every year.
Yeah, and definitely gotten into better positions. And I think, for the most part, I would say when she did the guest spot what was that? Maybe 3 weeks ago.
They knew this was.
Yeah,
they
they
wanted
knew.
to-
I think they had a plan.
Triple H, Vince, and
Yeah.
Stephanie all had a plan, basically saying
They knew exactly
because
where they were going to go.
Coach has a weird deal right now where he works for different outlets. So
ESPN. And
not ESPN anymore. I think
No?
the Golf Channel and a couple other people
Oh.
and like, but they were like, since this is happening and a lot of people don't really like Coach,
Mhm.
Renee's pretty high up there. And we're having this female movement in wrestling. Let's have a female announcer
Mhm.
at the table. Michael Cole was part of that too decision,
Yeah.
and they listened to the fans actually for the once.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool. And you kind of see that going across the board as well. So this Mae Young Classic, last year's Mae Young Classic was Jim Ross and Lita. So this year we've expanded the announced team.
Different teams. Yeah.
So you've got Michael Cole, you've got Beth Phoenix, and now you have.
I'm telling you, Beth Phoenix too is really good.
Yeah, no, she's definitely.
Put her on NXT.
Well, oh, you mean on the broadcast? Yeah, I think she'd be really good in the broadcast.
With Mauro
team.
Ranallo and
Mm-hmm.
Nigel McGuinness.
Yeah, yeah. I think that. I mean, I think they're just slowly just integrating this across all aspects of wrestling for their platform anyway.
And it's going to be interesting to see if the broadcasting thing changes next year with the Fox deal. Because Tom Phillips is really good, really solid, really
Right.
young, really.
Yeah.
He can call a great match already. He's every year he's getting better, but he's called main event matches and they're pretty good. No disrespect to Michael Cole or Mauro Ranallo. Those guys are great what they do. I think Michael Cole gets a bad rap though because he took over for Jim Ross. So, but he's been part of the company for how many years now? Since the late '90s. So.
Yeah. No, I think Michael Cole's just always one of those consistent guys.
People can complain about like him as a broadcaster, but he does what Vince wants.
Yeah.
And he's
it
good.
works.
But yeah, Renee Young getting the full-time gig on Raw is pretty special, and I think it's going to be great. And she was at Hell in Cell, which was last weekend.
Yeah, and it's going to be interesting for people, I think, just making the adjustment, not seeing her on the pre-shows anymore.
Which I think Coach will do great at the pre-shows because he has that ESPN background on SportsCenter and all other things he's done.
Good hype guy.
Good hype guy, but working with the legends and working with Sam Roberts and Peter Rosenbergs will be good.
I think it's a better fit for him.
Yeah, right now because I think he could tell you, like, yeah, commentator, I like it, but like I wasn't the best play-by-play guy. He'll tell you that. I'm not the best color guy. And now he gets a pre-show where he's better suited to do silent or reporting and backstage stuff. And now Renee Young, she's more of a personality. She has a background, but she can give you something different.
Yeah, and that's what's cool about Renee Young is she's very adaptable. You know, quick thinker, quick on her feet with different things.
Has an acting background, improv and acting.
Should have been a valet.
Really?
That's what she should have been a manager. Should have been a valet. But you never know. She's
Dean
still
Ambrose,
there.
We saw that feud with Miz a couple of years ago where Marie slapped the heck out of her.
Yeah. So you never know what's down the road. But that's one of the main things that's still going on Raw. So now she's a staple for Raw now, which is good because Raw's hurting, right? Raw's not doing too well.
And it's funny because the true wrestling fans call Raw the entertainment show and call SmackDown the wrestling show. And it's kind of been lately, it's proven its point why it has been.
Well, of course, another week goes by on SmackDown and Raw, and more people are tuning into SmackDown. It just has more interesting storylines. People
shorter. It's
shorter.
Got not a lot of talent, but small, great talent, I think. And Road Dogg, Brian James, who's writing the show and basically the executive producer of SmackDown, is doing a great job putting pieces together and laying out a great series of matches and promos and other show stuff. But I think that's also I think Vince and Triple H kind of like let him run it and don't really. They're there, but they basically say, "Hey, it's your show, you run it." And it's kind of proven the fact that it's been great. But we did have a pay-per-view last weekend. Hell in a Cell, Ben. What was your biggest takeaway from besides Becky Lynch? We'll get to that in a second because we talked about this on the phone last night. About
Hell in a Cell was just another one of those pay-per-views where again it's
the cage changed colors.
Yeah, the cage changed colors. The cage was only for 2 matches.
Yeah.
And
Jeff Hardy's still alive.
Yes, Jeff Hardy's still alive even after everything that happened on the show. Probably the biggest highlights, obviously Becky.
Yeah,
and it's still continuing. The Becky Lynch.
And her social media posts are getting better and better.
And they're not stopping. The fans are responding. and she won the title. So that kind of surprised me because I really thought
Waiting for Evolution.
they would save it for Evolution. But so now it's interesting to see where they go with Becky and Charlotte, and we can kind of talk about that after on SmackDown. The second one was the surprise finish for Joe and AJ.
Which, whoever's coming, I think it's Brian James again because he writes the show for SmackDown. They're coming up with great finishes.
Yeah, which the finish I think in this one was Joe had him in the clutch, Sukikina clutch, but then AJ leaned back on him for the shoulders for the pin, but he was tapping out, and the ref didn't see that side where he tapped out, and he counted the 3.
And it's funny because like AJ Styles is still a champion, but the fans don't get tired of it.
No,
and like unlike Brock, because Brock's never there, but Brock's a special attraction. That's another story for another show. But
yeah, I guess you have to think about why people are behind AJ, and I think it's because it's a lot of different factors.
The underdog mentality.
It's that underdog mentality. You knew that
he's 40 plus years old,
and of course his storyline coming in was Vince was always pushing bigger guys. He's not going to be in the spotlight, or he's not going to get those opportunities. And I know they played with that storyline, and he's gotten better with the promos since he's been there.
Best babyface in the biz.
Yeah,
yeah. I would.
Say,
in the company.
Yeah, I would say so. As far as male performers, yeah, I think he's probably the best performer for the guys.
Reliable, I say that. He's a reliable champion.
Well, and that's the thing too, is now that he's taken different approaches to things like with DDP yoga and some other training things.
And Chris Jericho helped with that a lot too.
Yeah, so he's definitely he's, of course, we've seen him. I think we were talking about this on the phone, but there's people that kind of say, they love the Joe and AJ matches, or some people think, it's
stale, it's old.
It's kind of stale, it's old. But you have to understand, like, they're wrestling in a different company, so it's a different
Nobody's
style.
really seen it before.
And and a bunch of people, the casual fans have not seen this before. So this is great for them. I still think it's great. I think both guys are working smarter as they're getting older.
If you think about it, it's been 3 different decades because ROH.
You're right.
TNA,
you're right.
TNA
Impact,
and now WWE.
WWE so.
we see them reinventing themselves every time, and it's great because they'll go into the meeting room or the room and talk with whoever is booking the show or writing the show and be like, "This is They'll trust their input because they've done it so many times.
And I think that's what's really cool, kind of about what the storyline is happening between these guys. Is it's very.
This would be.
They don't really have to write anything for these guys.
This would be a main event on any show or outside WWE anywhere you could think of, but it's not the main event, which we'll get into later on. But it makes you think because AJ and Samoa Joe. How long can this feud go? Because we tend to see these feuds. We don't have a long-term feud anymore. The one I think about going back on, I know I'm a Chris Jericho guy, but the Chris Jericho Shawn Michaels was the last one I could think about. 6 months or longer than that? And that took a build-up, and that took a build-up, and that took a build-up. That took Shawn Michaels buying in to what Chris Jericho was kind of like telling him. Like, I think we should do this, and it worked. And I think we might see this go to Royal Rumble at least.
You think so with AJ and Joe?
Because I don't know what else can happen. What else is there to do?
Yeah, I mean, because you have to look at the roster too.
Because
they don't want
to do a Daniel Bryan or versus Styles or Joe yet.
Not yet.
He's not ready.
No. The
Miz could be ready, but Miz and Daniel Bryan have to have a payoff.
And I don't really think there is one like on SmackDown. It's kind of shifting towards the wives a little bit, and the storyline's kind of stale at this point between both the couples.
And Daniel Bryan just signed his extension. Miz is the ultimate company guy. He'll do anything.
But he's busy with his program too.
So that's something we could talk about like in the future, booking wise for AJ or Samoa Joe. I would love to see a Samoa Joe Daniel Bryan next year WrestleMania main event, but it's too soon, I think, for Daniel because he's still getting his legs under himself after being out for that long. But the thing I want to get to is what's wrong with Raw? Do you think? Because we know
too long.
We know. We know it's too long, but it's the contract they signed, so Vince is not going to take away that too long. They need to figure out what they want to do with the championship, I think. They need to figure out what they want to do with Brock Lesnar.
Well, one of the things, and I know they like to shake things up with the brand splits. And but that was something that I always thought sometimes it hasn't, the last time the brand split happened, I was never a fan of it, simply because that means I have to watch multiple programs to, you're splitting up my the favorites, so to speak. You have different favorites for wrestlers, male, female. And, with the brand split, you've got, some people that you like to see on one, some people like to see on the other. So now with that means you're kind of torn. But it's like you don't watch Raw, but maybe there's a couple of people that you like to watch perform. So that's the hard thing about these, and of course this is the way it's going to be until they. The
only bright spot I see on Raw right now, to be honest, it's what Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre have done. It's what they've basically did their careers. Like Dolph was kind of in the thing, like, what do I do next? I've done everything.
Yeah,
and Drew's kind of hasn't had that chance being released, coming back, going through NXT. But these two right now are kind of like, to me, they're kind of the stars of the show. Braun Strowman's nice. I don't know what they're doing with Kevin Owens. That's another topic. I think he's in limbo. I don't know I kind of feel like it was like that Chris Jericho thing when he came back a couple years ago, they didn't know what to do with him.
Yeah.
The writing really wasn't really good for him. The only bright spot besides maybe Seth and Dean are okay, Roman's Roman, but I think what Drew and Dolph are doing are pretty great.
Yeah, I mean, what they're doing, I think, is really good, and you're right. There really isn't anything that really kind of stands out. They brought the Shield back, but I feel like,
what's the payoff? Like, what's this whole Braun Strowman thing?
Yeah.
He's not really a heel.
Yeah, because people are cheering for.
People love to see him beat up people.
Yeah, I mean that's just the thing. But it's weird now because you've got people cheering for they're just gonna cheer for their favorites.
And like, let's be fair, like. Let's talk about it. Brock came back, and a lot of people are like, okay, Brock's doing MMA now, but like he's still under contract with WWE. I don't know for how long because they don't release those details. It's a corporate company, but it's still private, sort of, and they don't have to disclose those things. But we don't know how long it's going to be till we're going to see a match with Brock, Braun, and Roman in Saudi Arabia again.
Yeah, a triple threat.
Because they're doing these events worldwide. With the Australia one's coming up actually next week, I think, the first week in November or October.
Well, and I think you're seeing that too, because we saw the Undertaker and Shawn Michaels promo on Raw, and I think that was a standout. But I think they're just not either. It's misuse of wrestlers and bad booking, or we haven't really found something that really sticks. So because they keep going back to the old legends.
What I think would be great for Raw. I'm just going to say it. Next year, if they sign Cody Rhodes, if they sign Kenny Omega, if they sign the Young Bucks, shake it up. Like, make it an independent thing versus these established stars. Make it Cody coming back and saying, Roman Reigns, you're overrated. Like I don't know if you work out a deal with Billy Corgan and NWA. But make it feel like it's an invasion style again.
Yeah, and I think that's where a lot of people
want it to go,
or you have fans out there that because like the best wrestling is what's really happening, and that's why All In and that's why indie wrestling has been really good, because they play on things that are happening out. And they acknowledge wrestling industry as a whole,
and
right?
you see guys in WWE saying, I see what Chris Jericho's doing.
Yeah,
I see what Kenny Omega's doing. I see what Cody's
but
basically
because they're under rigid guidelines for the things that they have to do.
And they still talk. They're brothers.
The WWE is just in a bubble.
Yeah.
And until it acknowledges that there are more companies out there that are doing different things, like I think they're barely starting to acknowledge. Did they mention TNA at all with AJ and Joe?
Yeah, they showed footage a little bit before, but I think Vince doesn't really watch. That's the thing. The story's been out there. Vince doesn't watch anything else besides WWE or his own product. He doesn't. He doesn't know who some of these guys are. He's like, Cactus Jack, isn't that the guy that hurts himself? Like, back in the 90s?
Yeah.
Mick Foley talked about it in his special that was recently on WW.
Right.
Vince never wanted to hire him. JR's the guy that hired him, and he told JR, well, I'm going to hire him so I can watch your pain and when he fails. So that makes you think, like, of course, Vince knows who Cody is. He knows probably who Kenny is, maybe a little bit.
Yeah,
He was in developmental, but still knows the names. But I think Vince knows what he's doing. He has a game plan for everything, and I think he wants Roman to succeed because Roman's part of the family. He's third generation kind of kid. I think Roman could succeed if just like maybe the fans bought into it a little bit. I don't know.
Yeah, it's
I know. I'm just throwing stuff out there. Yeah, it's
really,
hard with Raw.
It's really it's interesting with Raw, and there's like tons of different things.
SmackDown's so good though.
But
do you want to get to Becky though?
We can jump to SmackDown. Fast forward into it, there were a few key matches, but let's be honest, the main thing out of SmackDown really was
Rusev Day and
actually the Rusev angle was actually really good. That could be interesting. And Rusev
people
did
don't
really
know
well.
it actually can work really well, and he's actually married to Eddie Guerrero's daughter.
Oh yeah. I actually seen him live.
Who wrestles? Yeah,
I saw him at the Stockton Arena.
Was he good?
Yeah, he was. He definitely had the crowd booing him, because he was like doing the singing, like when he was coming out.
Well, I think it's good because Rusev is a babyface now. Lana's a babyface. Everybody loves her from Total Divas.
And so, of course, with that, I think that, that storyline can go, kind of anywhere at this point.
I was joking with that, but let's get to Becky Lynch and Charlotte.
But yeah, Becky Lynch and Charlotte, of course, Paige makes the announcement. It's
by the way, Paige, wow, she is good as GM. She's liking the role, I think.
Yeah, and I think this is great for Paige because it still keeps her involved in wrestling, and
she's still 25. She's a year older than me, and we forget about that.
And she's just great as a GM overall because we've seen GMs throughout the year that are just kind of like some work, some don't.
John Laurinaitis.
And Paige is really good. Because she was always good promo-wise. And so it's cool because she's definitely really grown as far as promos. She's done backstage. Seeing those interactions and just seeing like how that unfolds for her has been really good, I think, for SmackDown.
And I actually read a story about her retiring, basically. She said her retirement speech, Edge actually reached out to her. I think she reached out to Edge, or both of them reached out to each other because they have the same kind of injury. And he's like, once you go do your retirement speech, all the weight will come off your shoulders. And she's loving her contract right now, and she's still 25, and she has a lot left, I think, to contribute to the business because she's been wrestling since she was 11 years old.
Yeah. And I've always been a huge fan of Paige. Even like it really started in NXT, and that's why women's wrestling is so big now because they were wrestling in pockets all over the place.
Yeah, Florida
and Florida, and then of course you had a lot of women in Europe wrestling. You had Shimmer. You had Women of Honor.
Becky was in some of those,
yeah. Becky was in Shimmer and things like that. So, like that's it for WWE. It really it happened, and they acknowledged that era of Lita, Trish, and all the women that pioneered that. But NXT, Paige really started a lot of things, and of course that's where all the women have kind of moved up from NXT because they've had a lot of great stuff. But yeah, so going back to women's wrestling and the title belt and the storyline with Becky and Charlotte, of course Charlotte comes out right away, right? Cuts a promo, and the main takeaways here are, this is great for Becky. I think everybody's been wanting this for Becky, but it's interesting because she's not quite a baby face, and she's not quite a heel. So I still put Becky in a tweener role. She's getting cheers, but everything she's doing, with her friendship with Charlotte and how she's cutting promos and her body language and certain things that are going on, want it to be a heel, but it's not.
Yeah.
And so this is cool because it really kind of a lot of people are saying it mirrors the Stone Cold.
Yeah, I was giving you this kind of like last night on the phone again. I think I gave you the example. Yeah, Stone Cold. But she's making it where the fans are okay with her being a heel.
Yeah.
And everybody was in an uproar over her being she's a babyface. She's not a heel. Charlotte should be the heel. Well, get over it. Becky, if you ask any wrestler, what's the easiest thing to do? It's be a heel. It's the easiest thing in wrestling. Being a babyface is way harder because you have to make everybody love you. being a heel, people don't have to love you. If you look at Stone Cold, was a heel. What happened? Fans loved him. Rock, heel. When he after that babyface gimmick, people loved him.
People loved him.
You look at Triple H. He's had his moments where people hate him and love him.
Yeah.
Shawn Michaels, another perfect example.
Yeah.
People used to can't stand the Heartbreak
they couldn't
Kid.
stand Shawn
They would
Michaels.
throw stuff at him.
Yeah.
What happened when DX came around? They loved him.
Yep.
And then Bret Hart, same thing. People loved him. What happened when he gave actually his real personality? People hated him. So Becky's real personality is nice, caring, good, but she's using something that's inside her where she can be a heel. And it's another Ric Flair thing.
Yeah,
Ric Flair the same way.
And we kind of saw that, before she even got exposure to WWE and things like that. We've seen her do some heel
in
work
Canada.
before.
She worked like that. Yeah.
So it's not familiar territory for her.
I just think fans tend to forget, like, it's okay to be a heel. Edge. I loved Edge as a heel. He was really good.
Yeah.
And
the only really good heel right now in the women's division overall is Alexa Bliss.
yeah, and that's JR keeps saying that. I know JR, him and his women's wrestling, but
he's spot on.
he's been in the business for so long, but like he's spot on. He's like she's the best worker right now in the company.
Promo wise, just how she wrestles.
She's hurt right now, but
who she's teaming with.
And if you think about it, Ronda Rousey's third right now or second behind Becky Lynch. Like, nobody's talking about Ronda, what happened on Sunday to her.
No.
Everybody's talking about Becky.
Becky Lynch is the biggest, topic right now and for WWE.
Who would have said that when they first brought Ronda in January? Like, Ronda Rousey's not the number one topic in WWE right now?
Well, they tried to push her in that direction. I think they gave her the title too early, so now they're kind of like... Because if you give the title to somebody so early...
And to be fair, they really haven't. They've been doing this Alexa thing for a little too long. I know Nia got hurt. Maybe they were going to do a Nia Ronda thing or Nia Alexa Ronda thing. And they're building... And now there's reports that it's going to be Nikki Bella maybe turning a heel against Ronda. So
I've heard that too.
So the thing is, like,
this is all building up to Evolution.
Yeah. So what's for Ronda Evolution? We know it probably is going to be Becky and Charlotte Evolution.
It has to be.
And Asuka's coming back too, so she's getting in the ring again.
But I don't like what they're doing with Asuka as far as they've got her in some kind of awkward storyline with the Iconics, which doesn't make sense.
They're doing it in Australia next week.
Yeah,
because it's a hometown of the Iconics.
Because Asuka's such a great wrestler. She was such a great acquirement from Japan.
I think,
and it's just like everything slowed down after Charlotte, and nothing happened.
I think they built her too fast. To be fair, they
did a really good job. They did
really
good in NXT, but when she went to the main
Royal
roster,
Rumble and everything, she had to choose between who she was going to face. She chose Charlotte, then Carmella beat Asuka after that. Or no, Carmella beat Charlotte. And then, it's just, I don't know what they're going to do because we kind of see the same thing with Shinsuke. They built him up, but we didn't get a payoff with AJ. I still feel like there's
there's still no payoff with AJ, I don't think. And then that just got merged in with Joe and AJ. So, I'm not really sure what's going on, which makes me worry about, newer international stars coming
I say
in.
Becky, leave her heel for now. Don't bug her. I think the fans overreact.
Yeah, I think it'll play out the way it should be. They said they're not going to turn Charlotte at all. And she's going to still be face.
And she's a face of the company right now. She's going out talking to these groups and doing these People magazine interviews and Today's Show and all these other shows, ESPN. She's a good face of the franchise. She's a Flair, second generation wrestler. What else are you going to do with her? And it's kind of the same method. We all want to see John Cena as a heel, but it's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's not going to happen because you sell too much merch where you're at right now.
AJ, not going to happen for a long time.
No.
Yeah. No. Vince fell in love with him as a babyface.
Yeah, and he does. He really,
he's good. He's champion. Yeah.
I've seen, both the AJ work heel.
Who would you rather
babyface.
Go do an interview, Brock Lesnar or AJ Styles?
AJ Styles.
Yeah. Because
he's just a cool
dude.
He's
reliable and he's cool dude. And Brock's
kickback, super chill.
Brock's personality is, hey, I'm a loner. So.
Well, plus he likes games too, so it'd be great to chat with AJ about games and whatnot.
But that's the thing right now. Like some of these people just need to relax and think about it as it's a storyline. Let it play out. We see TV shows where people are like, "What the heck just happened?" Sopranos ending. That's awful.
Well, and I think that could be the attention span of the audience too. So a lot of
it's a lot of new fans too.
Yeah, that are just like they want a shorter thing and they're not used to a longer storyline.
I love a long storyline.
I think so.
It used to be great, like that
Longer
Chris Jericho
great.
and Shawn Michaels one, like what was that movie? The Chris Jericho kind of built that character on when he did it in 2008. It was I forgot where he wore the suit the whole time, but yeah. No Country for Old Men kind of feel, he said. Yeah, like Nick Bockwinkel and No Country for Old Men mix, but yeah. But yeah, I think, I don't know, that's just great. What else has been catching your eye?
Well, NXT, I think, has some really cool stuff. I'm always interested in that. So the big match there.
Oh, yeah, Wednesday nights is a little different now.
Yeah, so 205 Live is
so
on Wednesday.
You were going to say 209 Live.
I was going to say 209 Live.
Yeah.
I wanted a 209 Live. Yeah, but 205 Live, Cruiserweight stuff shifts over onto Wednesday with NXT.
With the Drake Maverick, a.k.a. Spud, whatever.
Spud, yeah.
Yeah.
There's actually
he's actually a manager now too.
Yeah, he's a manager now, and that's different, huh?
Yeah,
but that's
taking that Paul Ellering kind of thing.
Yeah,
over for Authors of Pain.
Hopefully that works out for him. I think it will.
Leo Rush is on 205 Live. He's making an impact.
Yeah, but Leo Rush has also been the manager for your boy Bobby.
Bobby
Lashley.
So, oh yeah,
and I think I think on Raw that was probably the most entertaining segment I saw.
Was it Bobby and Elias? I missed this week.
Yeah, so it was Bobby and Elias, but then
Elias
he had
Kevin Owens show up. That's another one. I like Elias, but like
you do.
I know he gets on the nerves, but you need that kind of like thing. But like he's a good worker, to be honest, and they haven't really given him the opportunity. They always stick him with like John Cena. Where's the payoff? Where's the payoff with certain thing?
Yeah,
he's kind of like, hey, go fill time.
He's a wanderer, right? Elias,
walking with Elias.
Yep, I'm here, I'm there, I'm everywhere.
Trish slapped the heck out of him too.
Yeah, that was good. That was a great segment with him and Trish.
Speaking of that, is Alexa okay? Is she going to come back soon or before Evolution? What's the details
I don't know.
of that?
I don't know.
Okay.
She's not returning to her text.
She's too busy with her pig.
Yeah,
she actually
too busy.
has a pig.
Yeah, I know she does.
Yeah,
I follow her on social media.
Yeah, the pig.
Yeah, not the pig.
Okay,
I'm sure the pig has a social media, but she does
yeah.
post the pig. Yeah, and a couple dogs.
She has a pig, folks. Actually, she has a pig as a pet in her house. It's huge.
It is a big. That's a big pig.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hope Alexa's okay because I definitely would like to see her because she does.
And I think Trish is
have
getting ready.
Evolution match. Yeah, I think that was probably my favorite segment on Raw this week. Was
Alexa?
with Bobby Lashley and
Leo Rush
because he's jumping over like these chairs. Kevin Owens is tossing and then he's just he's doing his agility.
Poor KO. KO's has to work with Bobby Lashley and Elias.
Yeah.
I don't know. They probably don't have anything right now because they're doing the Roman Brock and
no.
They should have given him the Money in the Bank. I'm sorry. They should have given Kevin Owens.
Well, it's too late for that, so we're just checking out what they have
205
now.
Live's on Wednesdays now. Leo Rush is on there. He's actually taking on Cedric Alexander, I think, next week or last night he did.
Yeah.
But something you brought up, NXT last night, a lot of people are talking about this. Might be one of the best matches that NXT actually has had.
That was fantastic. It was Pete Dunne and
Pete Dunne
is Ricochet.
So underrated.
Yeah, no, Pete Dunne is fantastic.
Every time I see him work, like when he worked with
just a powerhouse. That's why he's the bruiserweight.
When he worked with Roddy Strong, that was a good tag team.
Oh man, that was it was kind of like a mirror match, right? Because I feel like both of those guys are just powerhouse guys. They're very got a lot of submissions. They're stiff, man. They are. I don't know whose chop hits harder, but Roddy's or Pete's.
But yeah, Ricochet. People haven't seen the match. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah,
so I caught instant classic.
I caught some of the match, and this is definitely. I mean, for you just seeing this on an NXT regular show, a tape show, it's like whoa. That's and of course we had the women's match before, so they're still doing this Lacey Evans Dakota Kai feud.
Oh, interesting. And, Lacey Evans is kind of like getting
so Lacey Evans is getting a huge push, and
rightfully so.
So yeah, rightfully so.
She has a good background.
And, of course, she teams with Aaliyah, and Dakota Kai teams with Purrazzo, which is, of course, the villain's better half. And so, yeah, it's typical tag match and things like that. But this is just really, again, to keep the storyline going for Dakota Kai and Lacey Evans. She doesn't really take her serious as Team Kick and kind of does her own little
Lacey Evans
mockery
has a
of that.
Background, yeah.
Right. I wish Lacey Evans had a better finisher. It looks just kind of like a punch.
I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah, it's literally just like a,
punch
punch kind of thing. You could make it something kind of innovative, like, Okada's Rainmaker or something.
Okay,
I mean, if she's a powerhouse, give her something.
So Ricochet and Pete
Yeah,
Dunne,
so Ricochet and Pete Dunne was that was the bread and butter of
and
the
we
show.
didn't really get a payoff though of that match.
No, we didn't, because we had Undisputed come out. And it was so good. Like, I feel like Dunne had a counter for everything that Ricochet was throwing at him, and just when he thought he had him, Ricochet, is doing some fantastic aerial maneuvers, and it was just, a lot of it was chain wrestling into submissions, into counters.
This sets up War Games though.
Yeah, it does, because now it's like after Undisputed came in, cleaned house. You got both champs looking at each other.
Was Bobby Fish in the ring or no?
No.
Okay, but he's coming back.
But
soon, hopefully.
I'm pretty sure he's coming back. And of course, Adam Cole is salty because he lost his title
championship
on that was amazing pay-per-view.
Talk about a great finish too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was a fantastic show. But yeah, this is like the big thing in NXT right now. This is what's going to happen going forward. Are Ricochet and Dunne going to team up for War Games to take on Undisputed?
Trent Seven and
Dunne's buddies
have unfinished business with Roddy Strong and
Kyle
O'Reilly.
So if Bobby Fish is cleared and ready to go, we could see all 4-on-4.
Here's my prediction though: War Games LA in November, right before Survivor Series. Alistair comes back.
Yeah, Alistair comes black. Alistair Black.
Alistair Black comes back, and he takes up Pete Dunne.
You think so?
And
wonder why he would do that.
They move Alistair Black to the UK because he's a European guy, and it sets.
So he goes for the title. He chases the title.
Pete Dunne's the one that betrayed him. I don't know if it's payoff. It's probably not payoff because of Ciampa and Gargano, but I think.
Well, because that storyline's still in play, right? You don't know who attacked Aleister Black.
Pete Dunne's never there, so could he be the person that attacked Aleister Black? I don't know. That's something I threw out there, but that'd be interesting. I think that'd be a good feud.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think it would be a really good feud. Of course, you would lose Aleister Black though, because he would be in the UK, and of course they're still developing all of that. Hopefully we see more on the UK, like with news. That's coming out.
It should be coming out hopefully soon. But yeah,
I think they'll launch that after Evolution. I think they'll put more effort into it. And of course, you also have the Mae Young Classic going on right now. So Mae Young Classic's the 32 women's tournament, all women from all over the United States that are participating in this.
Caitlyn won round 2.
Yeah, Caitlyn won round 2. I heard.
Mm-hmm.
So she's moving on to face the Korean woman, Kim.
Watching from ringside, you're listening to me and Ben Sanchez, Dustin Braybill. But wrestling's kind of been interesting after All In. It's kind of been like ups and downs. And we have Australia coming up next week, which should be interesting because we see the Undertaker return. But Shawn Michaels returns kind of too. Kane returns.
A lot of people coming back. They're really going back to the old Legends bag for this.
There's a rumor out that we could see a tag team match at Survivor Series, which would be interesting because Shawn Michaels hasn't worked in a while. He's at the Performance Center. Triple H is always in shape. He can perform. Undertaker's lost a lot of bit, slower, older. Kane's coming off a foot injury, but still in good shape. Still Mayor now.
Yeah.
Mayor Kane. So what do we get with that? I don't know why Vince will always give
specialty
it
thing.
Specialty
maybe
thing.
Just because it's Survivor Series. Survivor Series is just one of those iconic pay-per-views.
We have this Crown Jewel thing too coming up too. So it's all these specialty shows are coming up.
So tell us about the Crown Jewel because I kind of heard a little bit about it.
I'm still trying to figure it out, but it's in Saudi Arabia again. That's what the Greatest Royal Rumble. But I think this one's in November. It's called the Crown Jewel. The main event's going to be triple threat. Roman Reigns, Brock, and Braun. So powerhouse. How many minutes does that last?
I don't know. I
2 minutes?
I guess it depends on who else is on the card.
Yeah. So. But yeah, I don't know. I can't think of anything else in the wrestling business right now. Ben, can you?
No. Death Before Dishonor is coming up for Ring of Honor, which is one of their, highlight shows. So, they're still announcing matches on that.
Jericho Cruise coming up.
Yeah, Jericho Cruise. So the big thing for Death Before Dishonor is the Bullet Club is going to take on Chaos from New Japan.
Ooh.
So it's two heel factions, right? So, we've seen the promos go out there. Each one of the guys from Bullet Club cut a promo on each one of the guys from Chaos.
And Chaos has been recruiting.
Mm-hmm. And Chaos has been recruiting. So, yeah, if anybody knows Chaos in New Japan, Okada and the boys are probably going to bring it. And, of course, those matches are always great.
But we have Chaos.
Great crossover.
The Bullet Club, and then we have Tonga, too.
Yeah, Tomatonga's out there.
He's been
around.
recruiting people, too,
Yeah.
because people remember he left the Bullet Club in kind of an abrupt way in San Francisco.
Yeah. Very interesting.
I thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what they're going to do with the
storyline work. Was it real? Was it not?
Hey, I'm not messing with Haku.
No.
He's gouged people's eyes up.
No.
I'm not joking.
Yeah.
People listen to this. Literally type in Haku, King Haku, eyes, and you'll hear a story where, don't mess with the King of Tonga, basically.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, there's some good stuff on the horizon for that, but that for the most part, we kind of rounded out everything real quick for you in the last couple of weeks.
DDP has a book coming out.
Yeah, he does. He
was on Joe Rogan, actually.
Yeah, he was on Joe Rogan. He's promoting a book. DDP Yoga is doing fantastic.
DDPY.
Yeah, DDPY. Yeah, they dropped the yoga. It's DDPY now.
He'll let you know.
Yeah, he will let you know.
I thought that was cool of him being at All In for Cody.
It was.
He's a really close family friend.
He was definitely, as Cody said, his dad had five people around him.
Yeah.
And DDP was one of them.
People forget DDP did a lot before he became a wrestling. He was a manager. He was a commentator. Dusty loved him. Dusty gave him a chance.
Yeah.
And then he became champion.
Off to the races.
At
40, man. Got the belt, and he was 40.
But when he gave that diamond cutter, the one to Scott Hall was cool, but the one to Macho Man, and I don't know if you've ever heard of the story. You could do a Macho Man voice.
Yeah.
I can't. So I think it was, I forget where it was, but DDP says it like he was walking. Arn Anderson was the agent because Arn retired, neck injuries. Walked into the locker room. He's like, Randy, what do you want to do tonight? Then Randy's like, lacing up his boots. The diamond cutter, 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you know DDP. He likes to lay out the matches like riding and by. So does Randy. But then when Star was born, I don't know.
Yeah. So that was it.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, diamond cutter.
Still Randy Orton and has heat about that. I think still.
Yeah.
I don't know if he does anymore, but
well.
It was, I don't know. The diamond cutters tends to be, I think, Randy or Dallas's.
Yeah. Well. That is all for the show today.
We're all in.
We're all in every week.
We're all out watching from ringside. Thank you guys very much for watching the show. And until next time, for Dustin. I'm Dustin.
For Dustin, next time for Dustin. For Ben, next time for Ben.
See you guys later.
Peace.